Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you, episode 102. And today's number is 550. Overall US marketing spending is projected to be over $550 billion in 2024. Speaking of marketing, we have a great guest today. I'll invite our guest to our virtual stage and I'm going to get the conversation started. Hello, Tony. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you.
How are you? How was your weekend?
Fantastic. I obviously, since we had this scheduled, I've been getting over a cold, but we did have a crazy weekend. I mean, we went to see Steve Miller perform Lincoln Jazz Center, so that was a blessing to be able to do. And then, as a dad, my weekends tend to center around trying to get a date night with my wife and then taking my daughter to dance, or, we went to the park a couple of times and then restocking the house, a trip to Costco and BJ's to get all the essentials for the week.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Planning
Sounds
for
like,
a trip next week.
oh, wow. Sounds like you had a great and busy weekend. That's how it sounds like it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's great. Well,
How about yourself?
well, my weekend was good. Very similar, actually. Mostly, family time. So that was good. I had the chance to catch up with some work. So that was good too. And actually, we have some new sponsors coming in for the American Business Podcast. So I was working with our team to prepare some content and update our supporter and sponsorship content. So there was a busy weekend. It was
Awesome.
fun, but
Congrats.
no complaints. No complaints so far. All right, sounds good. Why don't we get started if that's okay? As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our listeners?
Sure. Tony Seamus. I run Client Growth Partners. We're a fractional chief marketing officer service. I've been doing sales, marketing, and business leadership and strategy consulting over the past 20 years. And now we're here growing on Long Island and nationally, and even have some opportunities in Europe.
That's exciting. Well, how did you get started? How your career has unfolded over the years?
Well, I wanted to be an attorney when I started, but then I thought, I interned in a law firm, and the attorney said, if you don't want to be a lawyer specifically, do not go to business school. So I thought, what's the next best thing to do that gives me a breadth of experience or opportunity? And that was to get a degree in chemistry. And then I worked in a lab and transitioned in the lab over to business, did a lot of business activities and market research and commercial growth. And after that, I spent 12 years in the chemical industry, specifically for food and beverage manufacturing and helping them create a cleaner, healthier environment. I was in sales, operations consulting, and managed a SaaS and IoT product for 4 years. And it's so much fun doing that. A big company called me and said, Tony, we've got a $100 million business that is in decline. Can you come help us turn it around? And I did that. And again, had so much fun with those kinds of transformations that I got into the global consulting group at BASF and just traveled between all of the different business units, got to work in Europe and helped either drive transformation, digital or just business transformation, and then pinpoint challenges and fix go-to-market strategies or full-on work with marketing teams to help them to build and launch new strategies. After that, I went to an external advisory firm, and now I started a couple of years ago my own practice where I get to leverage all of that experience and really get down to one of the biggest draws that my clients would say as a strategy consultant. Tony, we need help in execution. It's great to have the strategy, but how do we get the right vendors in place and the right partners and resources to do this? And after presenting it in a national webinar and a couple of other venues and just putting out some literature on it, everybody said, Tony, it's not enough to just read about it. We need you to help us guide through the process. So that's where I came to today.
When you think about your day-to-day work, you work with different companies. You mentioned about different industries. What are the exciting and challenging part of your work on daily basis?
I think there's a couple of different angles at it. If you think about the life cycle of putting on new clients and then working with existing clients, the challenges shift between those two areas probably, right? And the challenge with putting on new clients is helping folks to see that marketing isn't just about running advertisements. It's an entire functional department. And, levered properly, it can be a strong growth driver, not just opportunistic or a must do. So there's a slight paradigm shift that's required, or finding companies who are ready to relook at using marketing as a growth driver, getting in that sweet spot. And then day to day with clients, it's pretty fun. I love to help, and getting my excitement and sharing it with my clients is pretty much the number one day to day. I've got a framework that I use that I've developed over the past 6 years, but also it's thinking differently about the market signals, the research, what people are saying, and that's really the most challenging but exciting part of what I do. It's helping people to think differently or beyond their existing state of reference.
Well, actually, we had a similar conversation for another practice. We talked about public relations and public relations management last week with another guest, Steve Turner. And he mentioned actually similar things in terms of actually a practice is a practice, right? So there are details of it. It's not just making or putting together a piece of it, but it's actually a whole structure that you need to put together and manage. So it's interesting that you mentioned that as well from the marketing point of view. So it's good that we point this out. Well, in the marketing industry, I'm talking about marketing professional services industry in general. How do you see the industry nowadays? Are there any challenges in the industry that you've been observing?
Well, there's quite a few. I mean, just in general, I've seen a lot of almost multi-level marketing opportunities where folks are selling their frameworks to marketers to say, you know what, you can make $10,000 a month per client or $100,000 a month per client if you follow my framework. And I think what that's creating is a lot of noise, more noise than general in the marketing industry, because you have all of the tactics, advertising tools that you can purchase: PR, LinkedIn, Instagram advertising, Amazon platform management versus Home Depot and the others. And so you're sorting through all of these agencies that have great extensive experience in different niches. And then now there's another layer on top of folks who are looking to apply frameworks, and it's just creating a lot of noise for business owners trying to suss through all of that. And then, of course, AI is making a big impact on the industry. I was at a conference with the head of AI for Estee Lauder a few months ago, and he was talking about how they've taken marketing campaigns that used to take them 3 months to put together, and they've got them down to 3 weeks. So, AI is I think this is across the board. It's extending people's abilities and driving more output from less. There's a lot of watch outs there, right? But I think he put it in a really nice way to say that it's taking folks who are very creative, helping them become analytical, and analytical folks helping them to shape out their creativity. So that's speed and volume to market. I'm hoping to see more AI in personalization, but I haven't seen that so effective in B2B. It's doable, but it's right now pretty manual.
Yes, we had a guest actually. I believe it was last month from Omniki. I don't know if you heard of them. Their CEO came, connected, and then we had a conversation. And they put together advertising campaigns with the help of AI. I was very interested. I don't know how detailed they go in terms of personalization, but that was a company that we had a chance and opportunity to host on the American Business Podcast. That was interesting. And you point out AI, and that was my next question. So, how do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays? Not from necessarily technical point of view, but in practice, based on your professional observation and experience, how do you see the impact of AI nowadays?
I see it going slower and more measured than I would I would assume based on all the hype around it. But there are people that are moving pretty quickly with implementing it into their daily routines. Um, it's just fascinating trying to see where it's going to come in and how to drive impact. There's two theories behind how to use AI, I think. One is you tell AI your complete, absolute ideal state, and then it'll build a company for you and all the processes and procedures to get there. And then the other side is classic business process transformation, looking for your bottlenecks and then seeing how AI or some other technology could improve that bottleneck. I mean, maybe those are too ideal because what I'm actually seeing is something kind of in between where companies are trying to move fast but then slow down, and there's a lot of hesitation out there.
Yes. Well, as you know, my expertise is enterprise business software, and workflow automation and digitization is one of them. And over the years, I've seen many different bottlenecks, many different challenges that the companies having. And we come up with the tool, right, that digitizes and automates the business processes that they have internally. And at the same time, this tool needs a lot of inputs that needs to come from the company. Who needs to approve what, where the data must be coming from, if there is a rule that needs to be there in terms of Tony needs to take a look at it, or Kevin needs to take a look at it, what is going to be the condition. And there is no one condition, there are many conditions for different products and conditions and their expectations. So I always found it to be pretty challenging within an organization. Even though tool is a very robust tool, it doesn't work by itself without giving the input. Now there is the AI, and it takes a little bit, to the next level. Then this time it needs prompting, so it still needs some sort of a human intervention or training. But once it
Yeah.
is set up, then it just works really seamlessly. But the challenge is most of the time to set these up. That's what I have been seeing. How do you see it
Right,
from a
right.
marketing point of view?
Yeah, I see that to be the case. It's trying to figure out how to set it up in a way that's repeatable and providing improvements. There are some products out there, some AI products, right, that do have like really phenomenal prompting, right, that can help you to advertise quickly or respond to customer uh, comments, complaints, those types of things where you can help guide a customer to a certain point where they're either driving awareness or ready to purchase, right, and making decisions between two products. I think there's some really great stuff there, but it needs to be set up properly, and people take for granted that setup. They want to just jump in. I've also seen some really cool tools that I wish I had when I was managing markets to do market research. The good ones are very expensive still, like $12,000 a year annual fee or more. And then there's some really cool market research agents that track, your competitors and the market from different perspectives, and then collate all that in real time, which would just take a person hours and upon hours and hours to do. So again, I don't see those tools deployed as easily because I think it's hard for the companies to find the right one, and then there's that back mentality of what can I use AI for instead of what do I need AI for, and sometimes an Excel file will just do, right. So it's really
Actually,
a technology question,
that is
not
a
a
good, yeah, that's a
question.
good point. Sometimes depends on what is needed. So I had a meeting with a potential client a couple of weeks ago. So I was listening to what they were looking to have. I was just listening. They didn't need thousands of dollars of worth of software. I mean, they need something simplistic, right? Sometimes it's just that depends on what they need. Sometimes they need a couple of systems that they need to put this together, and then they can implement it. So it really varies. But sometimes it's as simple as an Excel sheet. Really, it depends on what they need to be doing. The most of the time, the challenge I have been seeing is the data is all over the place, right? So it's called unstructured data. So
Yeah,
if you need to find something, you need to pull that Excel sheet. If you need to find something, you need to pull that software, this software. So the main goal most of the time, ultimate goal, but which is still not easy to achieve, is to just consolidate things and put them on one platform. So that is the ideal one. At least the data is on one platform that you can pull from. At least data is more structured, but then still it comes with the challenges because one platform is an idea that we always have in enterprise business software industry, but it is really hard to achieve that. So you always see this from the marketing point of view. They always market it that way: one platform for all, one platform for all. How can you be
yeah,
one platform for everything? Like, it's very tough, right? It's easy to say, but it's pretty difficult. So sometimes one Excel sheet is enough. Sometimes they need to get a platform, as close as possible. So it all depends. Having said
yeah.
that, I'll shift our conversation towards marketing practices. So you have many years of experience in different industries. And that's a generic question. I'm sure you can give me 100 different answers for this question, but just to get your insights a little bit for our audience, uh, can you tell us about best practices for the highest ROI in terms of marketing practices?
I love that question, because at the end of the day, that's what we all want, right? Is how can you get ROI? And I think that's is something that might lead to a lot of buyer's remorse for business leaders with marketing, is the idea of what marketing tactic can I do to get to the highest ROI? And the the answer is really, it's based on your research. For me, marketing is a risk-based approach. So the more research and due diligence you do up front to validate that product, market, customer fit, the higher a chance of success your marketing activities or channels. I even dislike using the word marketing, because I think what we're thinking about here is advertising. I don't know why, for whatever reason, people have um, stopped using the word advertising. It's just, after what was it, Don Draper got canceled, they canceled all of advertising, and there's no more advertising executives. So marketing, there's 15, 14 or more jobs within marketing, and advertising is probably 8 of them, right? 6 of them, depending on how you look at it. So yeah, that would be the highest ROI is driven by the more you do to reduce your risks and increase your probability of future success.
Mhm. Well, if one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with our audience?
Um, I think not assuming that you understand other cultures or other folks. Taking time to learn about uh, how different people operate. I think I mentioned earlier to you, in the past, I grew up in Japan. I spent a couple of years in Japan growing up. And when we went over there, we had, and I still have them, books on how to do business in Japan. but not every state or region comes with a book. But you should always look up that book, because if you walk into a situation and folks do business a little bit differently, it'll set you back really quickly.
Yeah, that's really actually informative. And interestingly, at the HILI, the manufacturing committee that we facilitate informative events, part of our committee actually covers international trade. So we had series of how to do business series, how to do business with
That's
Germany, how to
great.
do business with France, how to do business with Vietnam, or how to do business with Taiwan, for example. So we actually put together these events, and it was very interesting because all these experts that we invite, most of them coming from their the countries, either not commercial attaché, but they are close to the embassy, or they are part of the embassy or consulate. So they all have these insights coming from their country, how to utilize it. So they share a lot of insights, I remember. And one of the conversations that we had actually was how to do business with Vietnam, and we had a chance to connect to the American attaché, commercial attaché in Hanoi, and we had a chance to have the conversation from that. They connect remotely at that time, so it was unbelievable the insights they share with us in terms of how to do business with them, their customs, the way that they do business. It was amazing. It was very educational for us. So to your point, we need to get these books all the time. I think, no matter where we do the business, especially nowadays, we are talking about global economy, and the businesses are really connected in so many ways. So that'll be really helpful. That's for sure.
And I'm talking about even in the United States. I remember you know, growing up in New York, there were a lot of bankers that would move to California, and it immediately hear like, wow, they don't work as long or as many hours or something. They're like they're not there at a certain time, and if you are there, you've got to be conscientious of the fact that you're setting some sort of precedent, or making potentially making folks uncomfortable for numerous reasons, right?
Absolutely. These are important insights. Well, so one of the things that I like to ask you, I'm actually curious about it. Is there a book, a show, a movie that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
So many. I think there's like the classic rich dad, poor dad. Um, Getting that mentality to understand how to make money work for you, and avoiding taking on too many liabilities early on. Then most recently, though, I've been reading a book called Extreme Ownership, written by an ex-Navy SEAL, and it's all about reframing your thought process, especially around when something goes wrong, and how can you change what you did, or what would you have changed to create an outcome that's more favorable to what you would have preferred to happen. So Extreme Ownership, I think, is a good book. It's got a lot of war stuff in it that I'm not really interested in. I'm more of a direct, tell me the answer type person, but so it makes it interesting from some perspectives. But other than that, yeah, I really like the book.
Yeah, that's a great book. I had the chance to read it as well. And from the leadership point of view, it shows and it teaches a lot in practice. So that's a good example. And you are the first one who talks about this book in this podcast. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
Thank
really?
you for that. Yes, that's good. Well, if you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
You know, so I think going back to actually my early childhood in Japan, it's just been on my mind, and it was such a fun country to spend time in, and there were so many activities that, we had a pool at our school, and there was a little train that went around the playground, and we did all these events. There was sumo day when the sumo wrestlers would come and get in the ring with us. It was just the centricity around having a wonderful childhood experience. Maybe I'm nostalgic for that.
Sometimes at work things are challenging. They are not working. They are not going in our way sometimes, maybe hardships and other challenges. From your point of view, how to stay motivated and inspired in times of challenges?
And maybe this sounds cheesy, but is I focusing on my greater North Star goal, um, preventing buyer's remorse for business owners on marketing, is one thing that like kind of inspires me or keeps me going in the background. I get really excited and nerd out about that. But then just like on a day-to-day perspective too, going out for a walk. I love going for if I can get an hour in, and I just found a weight vest, those things are phenomenal. So it just gets the mind running in it. You can open up your mind to just think about anything, problem solve, whatever. It just changes my whole day.
When we look at the job market nowadays, especially entry level jobs are getting less, and new graduates are having difficulty in terms of finding positions, especially in entry level jobs. That's what we have been seeing, hearing, and learning in the market. Um, what is your career advice for the next generation?
You know, the this is going to sound strange maybe to most, but I think doing as much as you can that you're really interested in and diving into it and producing work in that area, right? A lot of entry level jobs, and I've heard this for years. Oh, all the entry level jobs require 2 years of experience. How is that a thing, right? So I would encourage folks, in their summers or in between classes to blog or talk about something that they are very interested in, learn about it, teach others. You learn the best by teaching, but then also try to do something. Try to help somebody build their business.
For those who like to continue this conversation, what is the best way for them to learn about your business and get in touch with you?
Thank you. LinkedIn. Find me at linkedin.com, Tony.Simas, S-I-M-A-S. You can go to my website too, www.cgp.life. You can message me and call me and contact me directly from there. Talk to my AI person. No, I don't think I've had anybody actually talk to my AI customer service agent yet, which is interesting.
They will. They should.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That sounds great. I mean, I actually use AI employees myself, and because of our practice software business, we also sell AI employees. So they work 24 hours. They answer phone calls and things like that. So for now, it's working. But definitely, there's a big change in the market.
Right. You want to get information as personalized and when you can get it, when you need it. And it's nice to talk to somebody, but it's also nice to just do a little bit of background research before you chat. And I think that's not to just say that's nice to do. I think the Gartner research from 10 years ago shows that the large percentage, 70, 80% of B2B buying decisions are investigated before talking to sales reps. So,
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I mean, AI will be a great tool, like in short time period. That's how it looks. It will never replace the human relations ever. It will just help. It will be a tool. We'll use it, where it makes sense. But in terms of like, talking face to face, shaking hand, having conversation, making connections, that's not AI can do. So actually, I had a guest in the American Business Podcast, and one of our guests, actually, I asked him question, what should do the next generation, how they can prepare themselves. AI is coming up, it's being employed, and
mm,
what they should do. So he says similar things, but one thing he said for the next generation was interesting. He said that, well, start your own business using AI. So if you cannot beat AI, you be the AI. I mean, you use the AI. So
yeah.
that was his insight that he mentioned. So that's also interesting that with AI, other business opportunities, and business ideas also coming up. That's also very exciting.
Yeah, and my caution to folks is that what I found is AI makes things sound very, very plausible that aren't practical or real. So when you're doing market research or starting up your company, it says do step one, two, three, four. Always make sure you go through and validate those as if they're hypotheses and assumptions. But I think in the future, I think folks will pay a premium or there'll be a demand for all natural content. Especially I my TikTok, I have like 30 videos or something posted on it. They were all AI generated of me, and they were all uploaded by AI, right? It was just kind of a social experiment. But I think people will crave natural, maybe they'll call it natural content.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about AI for hours. It's just an amazing, fascinating conversation, and by the fact it's really changing, and now it's actually practical and affordable and accessible even for small businesses. So that really changes it. It's not an enterprise
Mhm.
level technology anymore. Just banks can access. So that is why it's a really relevant conversation, because most of the U.S. economy is small businesses, and small business is a big business fundamentally. So that's why actually that's what making a big difference nowadays. It worth having this conversation. So it was actually pretty good. Tony, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it in your busy schedule on your Monday. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our business circles. Thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for sharing your professional insights and your professional wisdom with us. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you soon in person.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much. To our audience and to our listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Tony Simas, and we talk about marketing, best practices of marketing, right? So there are many different things that we can do with marketing in different industries. So there are variables. So in this episode, I just want to make sure we talk to an expert in marketing and we get some insights. As you remember, last week we talked about PR with Steve Turner and the fundamentals of PR. This week we talk about marketing and fundamentals of marketing and how to practice it. So in that sense, I hope you like it. You found it to be informative. And there is always something to learn in the American Business Podcast. That's how we design it. Thanks to your interest and your support. Thanks to our guests for them to share their professional insights and professional wisdom. The American Business Podcast, the voice of American business, is getting better and getting more informative for you and for all of us. Great. What is next? If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, make sure to send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. That's our email address. And we are very responsive. When you send us an email, we'll make sure to reply within 24 hours. Also, we are getting new sponsors and advertisers, as I was chatting with Tony earlier. We welcome also other sponsors and advertisers as well. If you like to promote your business, your products and services, you are more than welcome to be in touch with us. We are looking for more partners and expand our sponsor network and ecosystem. All you need to do is you can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com, and looking forward to having this conversation with you. I'd like to also invite you to our website, americanpodcast.tv. You can see our coming podcast schedules as well as what type of subjects we will be covering, and you can get the latest information about the American Business Podcast. We update our website weekly basis, so it has the latest information about the American Business Podcast as well as our coming schedule. As you know, at the American Business Podcast, we just don't talk about business, we also take action. That is why we created Connection America Business Alliance. That's online networking event. We organize it monthly. And the next one is scheduled for Friday. We only have 2 seats left. So if you'd like to join us, promote your company, your service, and your organization, you are more than welcome to join us. Please scan this QR code. When you scan this QR code, it'll bring a registration page that you can sign up for. And just sign up and join us. Hopefully, you can make it. What is cool about these online business networking event is that you will be networking with other business professionals online. At the same time, you'll be live on the American Business Podcast. So thousands of American Business Podcast viewers and listeners will be watching you, listening to you. That is what is unique about these online networking event. We are very happy with the interest coming from the business community, and I hope you can join us. It's Connection America Business Alliance online networking event, and next one is for Friday, and we are starting at 10 a.m. and I'll have the pleasure of moderating the event. So I hope you can join us. If you like to learn Excel and other business software products, consider me as Excel. They have a way of teaching in a fun and engaging way. That's what they are famous for. You'll enjoy this company. I have their QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code. It'll take you to their course catalog that you can pick from. Before you check out, make sure to use discount code ABP 2025. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan it and learn about Ms. Excel. If you are in need of recycling your electronics in your organization, that's ideal for those companies, banks, companies in defense industry, healthcare. They have heavy compliance requirements. More importantly, if you like to raise all of your sensitive data before you recycle your electronics, laptop, computer, and others, consider Pupfish USA Sustainability Solutions. They are specialized in data destruction, and they have a secure facility. I had a chance to be in their facility. I've seen it with my own eyes. That is secure facility. They have state-of-the-art equipment, and they wipe out all the data from your electronics, laptop, hard drive, and so on. And they can also destruct it too, based on your request. Physically completely destructed, and they document it, and they certify it. They are experts in their field, and they are also great people, and you love working with them. Pupfish USA Sustainability Solutions. I have their QR code on the screen. Make sure to mention the discount code ABP so they'll know you are coming from the American Business Podcast. All right, let's talk about some books. Well, The Third Element. I also have a copy of it from Randy Lehman. He put together these book, which is very informative and educational. I have the QR code on the screen, and you scan the QR code, it'll take you to their page, and you can learn more about the book and you can order. Also, we had another guest a couple of weeks ago, and Sean Moore, and he talked about the lifestyle asset and lifestyle asset market. He also wrote a book called What is Lifestyle Asset? If you'd like to learn more about the book, you can scan the QR code, you can learn more about it, and you can place an order if you are interested. Great, that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to having you in the next The American Business Podcast episode. Thank you. Have a great day.